Great to see everyone. Hopefully you all feel energized after lots of lunch food I saw out there, and grabbed yourself a coffee, ready for this engaging fireside discussion. I was trying to look for the fire, but imagine virtual fire right here, right?
Very toasty.
Exactly. We have two very esteemed panelists for this fireside chat, and I'll let them introduce themselves first before moving on to our great list of discussion questions. So, Olivia, pass on to you.
Oh yeah, thanks, Kinsey. I mean, it's really nice to be here today. You know, really honored to be in the stage of, full of ladies, something that's not very common, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, just a brief introduction. My name is Olivia. I lead investments for Antler Indonesia specifically. So as kind of like that name suggests, I do pretty much the end-to-end investments process for Antler. We're a global early-stage venture capital, actively deploying in Southeast Asia, but we do have different funds around the world as well. In Southeast Asia itself, we're in Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, as well as East Asia at this point in time. And so, yeah, we're an active AI investor, and specifically only in tech. So we're pretty much at the forefront of AI investments here in Indonesia and in the region in general. And yeah, we see a lot of them every day, every month. And I'm pretty keen to share insights on what we've seen, what has been working, what has not been working, and share it with the panel and also obviously with the audience as well. Thank you.
How wonderful. Investor perspective. I think that's something everyone's looking forward to hearing. And now moving on to Mega.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Mega from KUMPUL. So yeah, basically we are ecosystem enablers supporting entrepreneurs. So happy to be here with the ladies, so powerful ladies here. We are supporting entrepreneurs, start up from pre-early stage to the middle stage, and also non-tech entrepreneurs. Usually we call it MSMEs. So our vision is to democratize access. We did it since 2015. We supported by the community builder from the west to the east, around 150 cities, and also we are focusing on the Indonesia, not only in the country, also in Southeast Asia. So similar with Antler. Antler is a global player. We are Indonesian, but we're focusing on the regional because we're aware that cross-border exploration, it's one thing that can unlocking the possibilities and also capture more opportunities. So today, happy to discuss about an AI and supporting how the entrepreneurs can unlock more opportunity through AI together with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mega. And today our topic is smart investment in the age of AI, strategy, talent, adoption, and returns. So if many of you recall, yesterday we really focused on return on investment. How do you maximize that return on investment? And many of the panelists have discussed, talent is a really huge component to enable that, right? So I think without further ado, my first question is to Olivia. From an investor's perspective, what makes that AI startup unicorn, right? What makes that AI startup really stand out when you're selecting startups?
Yeah, I would say that there's various factors that we look into. Firstly, I think bringing into what you mentioned about talent, right? What we consider as the most important, especially at such an early stage, Antler invests at pre-seed stage. For context, is definitely visionary founders, right? And especially with the age of AI, with the advancements and that it brings as well, we do see those that stand out as someone who already sees and considers AI as the core product architecture. So they don't see AI as just an additional tool or a feature that they will embed in their old workflows. That's kind of like the first way we see it. I would say secondly itself, something that's a bit more general, doesn't need to be AI, but it's basically having a very clear, painful problem that they are solving or the product is solving. And where AI comes into this is that these type of problems cannot be a problem that exists 10, 15 years ago. Then at that point, you can consider it as quote unquote outdated. And so the problem that AI startups that stand out today, which should solve, are basically problems that, let's say, without AI, this would have been impossible to solve or economically just unviable. And lastly, maybe again, bringing back to the talent perspective is definitely having a great team who can actually build the product, who can iterate very quickly and execute strategies. So those are the various factors that we look into, but we definitely see it more holistically as well. We don't see it as separate parts. We put, let's say, more priorities over the other. This should be looked overall as kind of like one package.
Wow, a lot for us to think about, right? And Mega, many companies you work with, they must see there's a bit of a digital talent gap, right? So how can businesses really actually build that AI-ready teams when there are all these AI talent gap that's existing in the market?
Yeah, we are aware that the talent gap is one of our challenge in Indonesia about how to digitalize the talent in Indonesia. Our government, especially their create a lot of movement, and together with us, we are, since 10 years ago, we are contributes to the talent in Indonesia by supporting the entrepreneur mindset and also how to digitalize the companies or enter their business, and also how they can accelerate through digital. And AI is bring the new tone and how that can accelerate by these tools. So, but I agree with Olivia, they can be separate. Like AI is one of the great orchestrator, and if you can use them very efficiently, and make it very wise to decide which part is you can take it or which part you cannot take it, because like AI is like you need to fit them right. And from the talent gap perspective right now, I think the AI adoption in Asia, based on the data, right now around 92% that already adopting the AI in Indonesia, like Gen AI, about the ChatGPT, Gemini. It's also a part of the Ministry of Digital that already create the roadmap of AI. So from that, it's almost 100K of the AI tools that an AI pool that's already established in Indonesia. That from that, I think the companies in our ecosystem, they'll already understand how to create, how to capture which talent that already understand, and how create the AI as the partner, their partner, and also use the AI daily and make it more productive. And also why KUMPUL right now is create some movement together with our partner to support talent, MSMEs, and startup to adopt AI together with our community builders. So in our ecosystem, we already support 10,000 talent, 16,000 MSMEs, and also a couple of startups that already embed AI and enabling the AI for their businesses. And from that, the main important thing for the company is to make the team is ready, the same with Olivia, how to create the productivity, increase the productivity, and also capture the more opportunity for their business, increasing the revenue, and make it more benefit and increase the profit for the companies itself.
Wow, productivity and AI's potential impact on productivity. That's definitely one of the keywords we heard a lot throughout the day, right? And now shifting gear a little bit, I'm sure everyone's looking forward to hear the answer of this question, which is, Olivia, from your professional perspective as an investor, where do you see the biggest AI investment opportunities in Indonesia over the next few years?
Okay, that's a really good question, and something that we definitely do see a lot. So actually, Antler, we have released our theory of next playbook as well. This is actually available online for anybody who's interested on getting our firm's kind of like perspective on what would be the key sectors in the next few years. So check that out. But in the context of Indonesia specifically, I would say that we are a venture capital that is sector agnostic, but don't mistake that, we invest in everything. We're not, and that's because we are conviction-led. So in Indonesia in particular, I would say that where we see the most opportunities would be businesses that use AI to fully automate their businesses processes with a very strong localization angle. So to expand on, all of these words that I've been saying is, what does deeper automation mean? Basically with, again, the advancements of AI in the last 1 year or even 2 years or so, the core service that the product has to serve, it has to be fully done by AI agents. This is something that we definitely see as one of the core advantages of adopting AI for businesses. But I would say that in general, we don't want to replace humans, right? And I think in the context of Indonesia, it definitely does not make sense. We are very, very much relationship driven. So there will always be human in the loop for Indonesia. But how we should, or how we see businesses on how they should approach this is basically how can we empower humans with AI so that they can 10x or even 100x their output while still having that human in the touch loop. That's what drives relationships. And why a strong localization angle? I think simply put, we consider Indonesia or building in Indonesia as maybe in like gaming terms, like building in hard mode. In Indonesia, the way we do things is very, very messy. I think that's kind of like the unspoken thing. People don't really say it. It's very messy. A lot of things are very fragmented, and the consumer attitude, let's say as we compare it to global counterparts, is very, very different. I would say that Indonesian consumers really have a do-it-for-me attitude. They would like things being done for them. And so what happens is that Indonesian companies, they tend to have tighter margins. They also have lower average contract values as compared to, let's say, their Western counterparts. But those that do succeed, what happens to them is that they build resilience and also very, very strong unit economics as compared to maybe some of their regional or even global counterparts. And this is really what sets up Indonesian companies to succeed in a regional or a global stage. So yeah, that's, I would say, again, I would say that this type of approach can be applicable in many, many sectors. There's not really a specific industry that we want to focus in. It can be in fintech, it can be in logistics, it could be even in conventional businesses, right? Or conventional industries, oil and gas, mining, everything can be applicable. It's just how AI is applied will be the difference maker for these type of businesses.
Wow, thank you, Olivia. And I think the localization part is deeply touching the human element, right? And I think we've talked a lot about human in the loop. Now moving on to the more human element from your experiences, Mega. Beyond technology, what role do you see leadership and culture play in successful AI adoption? This is a more human element, yeah?
Yeah, it's most important point actually. To how to leverage AI. So leadership is the play an essential part for leverage AI and create the more productivity for any kind of business. So I think when to talk about leadership and culture, the basic leaders have to create the prominent strategy to see how to transform the companies, how to create the innovation in the company, how to create the teamwork, and orchestrate this as a good working culture in the company. So it can start from the leadership skill to see how the strategy that want to achieve in like 1 year or in 5 years, and unlocking that from the AI. So this AI can leverage the strategy, and I can create the more comprehensive strategy based on how the trends going. In example, in the manufacturer right now, manufacturer like one of our biggest driver GDP in Indonesia, right? 19% of the GDPs come from the manufacturer, like in F&B and pharmaceutical health. Then we all know that all and very high political, but then how to create the innovation and transform the manufacturer to have the new innovation, and how to solve the problem. Because the problem solving, I think, is like the main for any leaders in any companies, any sectors, and AI will play the big role for that, as well as culture on the company, and culture how to also enhance the collaboration with other industry. And for that, I think human sense, and using AI wisely, using AI carefully, and also be part of the culture of the company itself. So in KUMPUL, internally and externally, we also put how we can leverage AI wisely, carefully. It's part of the culture. Yeah.
That's such a good example. And based on what you have seen at Mega, what are some of like the common mistakes companies would have, right? Okay. While not prioritizing leadership, for example, or not prioritizing culture, have you seen any cases where it has resulted in any negative outcome?
Maybe not negative, just maybe they can just redesign the steps or design the strategy, like there's no mistake or not right and wrong in the entrepreneurs. That's what I believe since the day one in KUMPUL. Yeah, Olivia?
So true.
So everything about entrepreneurs, they just can start it, and any movement is a validation for them. So there's just like we can redesign the validation process, or we can create the more strategic movement. So maybe like some of the experience that I had during my journey in KUMPUL is some of the founders, they just understand about how to make a great product, but they don't know how to capture the market. So the most important thing for us is the market, right? How to capture the market, and that's why we have to step a product market fit after the validation. So Antler know best about that as well, because they invest. Yep. So they have to capture like how the product market fit step is clear, right? So I think, because of 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, when I contributed to 1,000 Startup Digital by the Ministry of Digital, they wanted to create 1,000 ideas in Indonesia, because simply our ranking of entrepreneurs is very low back then. Right now it's increasing, but still like we need to push that. And from that, we are aware that technology is the key and accelerate the companies, but they don't know how to create the technology and fit that with the market, and capture the market and the trend. They just busy to create the great product, and then after that, there will be a many the same business model, and they compete, and they need to burning money. So those kind of things, but it's not a negative thing. It's just lessons learned for us. So I think the best way is to make the conventional mindset, find your business by market, and create the best product by innovation, and AI can help that.
Wow, there's no mistake, there is momentum, right? I think that's the biggest takeaway from what Mega just shared there. And Olivia, from your perspective, what are some of the learnings, right? It's not mistakes, it's more momentum. So what are some of the learnings do companies make when they're trying to invest in AI or AI-related startups, yeah?
Yeah, maybe also building on top of what Mega has mentioned, because I definitely do agree with that. It's not a mistake. I think it's a learning process for everybody because AI, or especially the advancements, the developments that has happened in the last 1 year or so, they're new even for myself, even for Antler as a VC. We just have to learn faster than everybody, but again, it's not a mistake. It's a learning step for everybody. But I would say in general, right, one of the most common, I would say, pitfall that we see is, I would say, the feeling of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. In Indonesia, with enterprises, with SMEs, a lot of them have been seeing the hype of AI. And again, with so many builders building in public, they only see, I would say, majority the beautiful side of actually adopting AI. And so a lot of them, their thought process would be, how can I or my company adopt AI very, very quickly? But the pitfall is basically adopting AI just for the sake of adopting AI and not treating adopting AI as sort of like a deliberate approach in adoption of a new technology as something or as a way to solve a real workflow issue. So that's probably one of the most common pitfalls we see. And I would say another one, something that's usually not really visible until companies start adopting AI, is the integration issues. So this is something that even Antler ourselves, as a firm, we face issues in when we started looking into how can we, let's say, work together with the different models, the different AI agents, even building our own AI agents, is that integration is very, very difficult. It's very rarely or even unlikely, I would say, that it's a plug-and-play integration. So what usually happens is that, turns out existing systems, they would not, or maybe there's a lack of APIs for the integration. There might be different processes, different formats that, these existing systems do not have the capability to be, directly integrated with AI or the agents and so on and so forth. So what happens is that so many human intervention, manual work has to be done, and this basically leads to the delay in the actual integration. It might even lead to basically maybe just bare bones products that really go nowhere. And so, yeah, those two I would say are the most common pitfalls. But again, right, I think it's understandable that this is all something that's new. I think just be, more thoughtful, be more mindful when, as a startup owner, as a business owner, on why you want to adopt AI, and then, do more research, maybe, try to engage people in the ecosystem, in the communities on what will be the best approach. And yeah, what I learned also is that the community, the AI community in Indonesia is, very, very welcoming. They're very, very open, and yeah, make use of that, right? They would pretty much save a business owner, future headaches, if they can.
That's some practical hacks there, right? Get in touch with the existing AI community of practitioners to get free advice, really, right? And what I'm also picking up that is what Olivia is saying is that AI is a means to an end, but
Correct.
not an end in itself, right?
So true, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So now I'll move on to the last question. And the last question I want to ask the both of you as well, right? To hear your perspective. And that's around the skills that you believe professionals need to develop in AI today, right? And then to enable an AI-driven economy, what are some of the key skills that whether it's companies, startups need to prioritize, or whether it's professionals need to prioritize, and what's the reason behind that? So perhaps we start with Mega?
Yeah, I think all we know that AI already drive a lot of movement, and also it's accelerate in every way, right? In any division, any sectors, and I think it's a lot of happening after AI. I think it's this last 3-5 years. Yeah, Indonesia, I think like last 3 to 5 years, yeah. And from that, we, as an, professional in terms of are you entrepreneur or you are like the practitioner expertise, you need to see that how the AI literacy, because a lot of updated very fast and a lot of LLM companies right now, they're moving too fast for us. It's too fast because if we can see the data from the global, the companies, even the big companies, they only invest on AI only 25% on the data. And because of that, we see that how the professional can adopt the AI literacy, like updating the AI from time to time. Because, like Olivia said, and any ways AI can disrupt, but how we can see the well literacy from that, and it's also empower our critical thinking to pick like which one is the best for us, which one is the priority for us, and which one is like the main thing that we want to pursue this time. Because also we know that macroeconomy is changing a lot, and certainty and uncertainty is happening, right? So from that, our critical thinking is, and the last maybe like the collaboration. So we have to very open-minded to see which sector is growing fast through AI, and then how we can adopt that strategy, right? So right now, I think like almost all sectors is adopting AI, but in which way, in which strategy, they can leading the sector or can leading the industry. So from that, I think as a professional, we need to look very open-minded, and after that, we can see this collaboration not only in the national level, it's also regional level. That's why we are keep collaborating with the Asia Pacific partner right now in the government area, academia, and also industries. Industry is the most important because they know how the trend goes and they know how the customer goes about the customer behavior. It's also very important. From the technology progress, it have to be translated to the consumer insight. So for that, all the professional, including entrepreneurs, can be the leader in their own way. Thank you.
Thank you. And Olivia, what's your take?
Oh my gosh, Mega, you stole the point that I wanted to make, so I don't know what to say now. But no, I mean, so in the context, of this panel, right? There were 3 things that were mentioned: technology, talent, and strategy, right? But the point that I wanted to make is actually a secret 4th thing, which is actually execution, which you basically mentioned. So for me as an investor, when we look at or when we work with our own AI native portfolio companies, the 3 factors, they're undeniably important. So maybe if I want to expand a little bit on it. So on the talent side, obviously we do want to see people who do have the skill sets to actually build the product that the business wants to make. That's one. Strategy, of course, actually executing is going to be important, right? That's going to be the driver of the company in the long term. And on technology, obviously on the AI itself, again, I think what I've been saying a lot is the advancements of AI, the new technologies is what's creating new opportunities. So all of these factors working together is definitely very, very important for new AI companies that are coming up. They're going to essentially lead the wave. But something that is not talked very, very often, in my opinion, is basically this execution or the speed of execution. So similar to what Mega basically mentioned, we noticed that the best performing companies that we have, actually their main advantage is how quickly they're able to go to market. So it is fine if you're starting your own business, you've just finished developing your MVP, your product. My kind of like suggestion is just launch it. Doesn't matter if the product is not perfect, just launch it. Get it out, spread it to the community, get user feedback, and then quickly identifying the shortcomings based on user feedback, and then iterating based on that, and do this multiple times, because again, it's really impossible for anybody to get the product right immediately. A lot of companies, even AI, although again, right, with AI, this process sort of becomes much faster than it used to be without AI. But they would go at least 2, 3, 4, or 5 times, or even 10 times of iterations before they find something that actually sticks. And so doing this really quickly, and then finding what actually sticks, what actually solves a problem for your users, is going to be the main difference maker. But again, not discounting the other factors. Yes, they are all underlying things that you need to focus on, that you do need to invest your time and effort in. But in my perspective, execution is number one, and everything else can sort of like follow behind. Yeah, that's probably it from me.
Thank you, Olivia. Fail fast, learn fast. I think with that, we wrap up our time with 2 wonderful panelists. Thank you all for your attention.